Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on 20 cable stations from Vermont to New York City and 24/7 on the internet at thestruggle.org. Several topics on the show today. 2 demonstrations in New Haven, Connecticut. Another on the West Bank in Palestine at Al-Walajah, against the wall. A public service announcement about 9/11 by CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, and the premiere of a new video about a song by David Rovics about the fate of the Turkish ship, the Mavi Marmara. At Yale University, on the same corner, 2 different demonstrations, one about the hiring of the controversial General Stanley McChrystal, and another about animal testing.
I'm Deb Malatesta. I'm from the Answer Coalition. Answer stands for Act Now to Stop War and End Racism. We organized this demonstration today to demand that Stanley McChrystal be fired from Yale and be tried for his war crimes against the tens of thousands of Afghani people and the 4,500 American troops that died in Afghanistan. He's been hired to teach a class in leadership and globalization, when it should be called Occupation and Genocide 101.
But Yale has sunk pretty low now that it has people like Negroponte and Tony Blair and now McChrystal. Not much has been made about Tony Blair. But the fact that a man like that could be at the Divinity School, a man who helped enforce the sanctions on Iraq, which started 20 years ago, which cost the lives of between 500,000 and 750,000 of small children, who got us into the war with the dodgy dossier in 2003, who helped George Bush get into this insane war, which we're only very, very slowly leaving. To have him come to Yale in any capacity is a disgrace. And to speak and to teach at the Divinity School, well, I wonder what God he believes in. And now we have Stanley McChrystal, who came over. He was supposed to be the good, clean guy. He was going to deal with Afghanistan in the humane way, you know, pull down or keep civilian casualties to a minimum. How did it work out? Bombing of wedding parties, the drones all over the place, horrible atrocities here and there, hundreds, thousands of Afghans. And what has been the fruit of this? How many Americans died just this week? 21 Americans killed in 48 hours in Afghanistan. And that's been the fruit of the McChrystal Petraeus strategy. And what is going on in Afghanistan? A war between drug lords, the Taliban, the Afghan government, one more corrupt than the other. What place do our soldiers have being there, getting involved in that hideousness? We urge the students at Yale to start thinking about Stanley McChrystal, Blair, Negroponte, and any others, and to demand their ouster.
Stanley McChrystal is not the only war criminal that is working for Yale University. We have to remember 2 names, the people who are working right now for Yale, and one of those persons is Cedillo, the former president of Mexico between 1994 and 2000. When Cedillo came to power, he was one of the ones who implemented the free trade agreement between Mexico, United States, and Canada. And that's one of the reasons many Mexicans, they start living in poverty and they were not able to survive. So they are crossing the borders all the time, and all the time they are dying in that border. When Cedillo was in power, he was not able to negotiate a peace agreement with the Zapatista movement. But at the same time, he was the instigator of 2 big massacres of indigenous people in Mexico. The Acteal massacre and the Aguas Blancas. So why we keep, Yale University keep hiring criminals? If we live in times when we want to have a secure neighborhoods, you know, why we want more criminals in the city of New Haven? The other person that is also another war criminal is John Negroponte, and I can say it's because during many times, you know, when he was the director of national intelligence, when he was the U.S. ambassador in Iraq, when he was the U.S. ambassador in Honduras, he was in charge of many covert operations for this country. Covert operations that produce a lot of dead people. He increased the military aid to the Honduras government. And what they have been doing, the Honduras government, killing people there, killing the popular movement. When he was the ambassador in Honduras, he used his position there to attack the revolution in Nicaragua and also the movement in El Salvador. Thousands of people die, and nobody cares, nobody remembers, and now they are working in our lovely city. Why we want them here? Thank you.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Stanley McChrystal's got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Stanley McChrystal's got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Stanley McChrystal's got to go! Occupation is a crime!
I didn't get the whole sign.
The sign that got the most attention read, "Yale insults the memory of Pat Tillman." Tillman was a professional football player who gave up his career and joined the Army shortly after 9/11. He served in the Iraq invasion and then was shipped off to Afghanistan, where he was killed. The story that went out was that he died heroically in a firefight with the enemy, and he was awarded a Silver Star. But things didn't add up. The family wondered why his body armor, uniform, and notebook had been burned by the military. After years of investigation, they found out that there was a completely different story. He had been killed by members of his own platoon in a so-called friendly fire incident, and that his superior, Stanley McChrystal, knew about this. And at the same time he was recommending the award, also emailed his superiors that Tillman was probably killed by his own troops. Last week, Marie Tillman said the hiring of McChrystal by Yale was insulting.